Week 9, y'all, we had records set. 7 games came down to the wire. Just a whole lot of good action. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the B&E Podcast presented by Premium. I'm Brandon. He's Ed. Ed, what's going on? Victory Monday, huh?
Yeah, Victory Monday. Commanders, I don't really get into that. I think the season's pretty much over. But yeah, this is probably the best week of football. I think week
Yeah.
9,
Mhm.
the amount of close games that we had. So yeah, definitely a good week of football. But Victory Monday for you guys. You definitely showed up and showed out, but Victory Monday for
You
Commanders, whatever.
you got to give your team a little bit of credit, man. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but you got to give
Congrats,
them.
y'all. All the
Okay.
credit that good.
All right, let's get to this opening drive. The Steelers wide receiver Deontay Johnson, he's been fined for criticizing the refs following their Week 8 loss against the Jaguars. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, he'll be out for the season after tearing his ACL. Vikings running back Cam Akers, he has a torn left Achilles, his second such injury of his career. Falcons are expected to stick with former Commanders quarterback Taylor Heineke next week. Kyler Murray, he's expected to be the starter, the number one guy in Arizona. And the Vikings will start Joshua Dobbs, they announced on Monday in week 10. And in some good news, Bill safety Damar Hamlin, he launched a scholarship to help underserved high school and college students in the Cincinnati area. There, great news for the Bill safety. Always good when you hear
Yeah,
news about the
definitely.
guys in the community. Yep.
For sure. All right, let's get into these games that happened over the weekend. Let's start with the Vikings at the Falcons. I don't want to say a battle between backup quarterbacks, so that's kind of what happened. Originally, the Vikings started their rookie quarterback. What was my guy's name?
Jaron
Uh,
Hall.
Jaron Hall. Thank you very much. But he got injured
Mhm.
very early in the game, and in comes Joshua Dobbs, who kind of had I guess you could call it a Baker Mayfield like performance, where he comes in off of 2, 3 days and pulls something out of his ass and gets the jobs done. This was a crazy game back and forth. The Falcons, they were out without Drake London, so he was definitely missed. I think he had a groin injury or something, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, Dobbs came in. He led the team in rushing also because not Tyler Jure, but Cam Makers, like you said earlier, he tore his Achilles, and Alexander Madison, they pretty much contained him. He only had 44 yards rushing off of 16 carries. But Josh Dobbs, I was watching Red Zone. Every time I turned to the game, it was like a third down or third and long, second and long type situation, and he had to make something happen. He only had 66 yards rushing, but he ran about a good, I want to say 200 yards. There was one play, it was I want to say a third and long, and he ran like at least 50, 60 yards on a play, just going kind of like in a loop where he went one
Patrick
way,
Mahomes
oh
in the
shit,
Super
wasn't
Bowl.
working, went all the way back around
Yeah.
and scrambled for like 10 yards, but he ran like a total like 50, 60 yards on that play. So I wouldn't be surprised if he literally ran like 200 yards that game just of all this crazy stuff he had to pull off. But yeah, man, this game was nuts. I don't know if you saw this game. I was watching Red Zone, so they were
Mhm.
showing me the games, but I didn't see the game in its entirety. But this game was nuts. I thought the Falcons were gonna do enough to win the game, pull it out in the end, but Josh Dobbs, he marched down the field. They had a I want to say 4th and 6 or 4th and 7, and he scrambled for a first down. He broke a tackle for one of the D linemen of the Falcons, and Josh Dobbs ran for a first down and got his team in score position, and it ended up making a throw to Brandon Powell, I believe, to give them to
Yep.
win this game. Now the Falcons are 4-5. Um, they're gonna start Taylor Heineke again, but like I said before, I don't think he's the answer for the future. I think he's a
Mhm.
good stopgap, a good backup quarterback, but the Falcons definitely got some choices to make going forward. Brandon, what do you think of this game, though, man?
Yeah, these games usually come down to the leg of Young Wei Koo there in Atlanta. It's something about that stadium. It always seems to come down to him, but not in this one. You mentioned Jaron Hall. He left early with that concussion. Who's the backup? None other than the journeyman. Got traded on Tuesday. 224 total yards and 3 touchdowns. As you mentioned, that game winner to Powell with 22 seconds left on the clock. Minnesota, though, they continue to have a fumble problem. Despite the very good game there by Dobbs. It almost cost them overall. He fumbled 3 times and lost 2 of them. I think they need to get it together though if they want to make a run. That seems to be the storyline with them this year between the fumbles and they're not getting those close wins. Besides this one, like they did so many of them a year ago. But this Falcon team, again, getting back to them, they're really good at home. Calais Campbell had that safety in the first quarter. Taylor Heineke, he hit, of course, Jonnu Smith for the big 60-yard touchdown early on. I know it's not beneficial for you because you got Kyle Pitts. I think still, are you still rocking with him on your fantasy
Yeah.
team? But it's always good to see the big guys running downfield. Big tight ends and Jonnu Smith, one of the low key better tight ends in the league that don't get a lot of credit for I think his play. But as I said earlier, it looks like, and you mentioned too, looks like Heineke is the man moving forward in Atlanta. I agree, not a long term answer, but I guess we'll see how long it lasts for them. I guess he's better than Desmond Ritter now. Again, I've been harsh on him all year. I think the clock has been ticking, so we'll see if Arthur Smith has to go back and forth, and if that creates a quarterback controversy for sure. But yeah, best of luck to Taylor Heineke though, moving forward.
Yeah. And before we move on, I want to say I think Justin Jefferson should be back next week. So that's definitely some welcome news for the Vikings. And they're 5-4. I mean, who knows? They could win a couple more games and still be around during the when it's time for the playoffs to start. So we'll see how the Vikings look going forward. Because this division, I mean, you got the Lions who are pretty much the cream of the crop of that division, but the Bears stink and the Packers they won this week, but I don't know. So Vikings could still be alive by the time the season ends. We'll definitely keep an eye on that.
For sure. All right, everyone. The Saints, they improved to 5-4. They have a firm lead on the NFC South after a 24-17 win in the Big Easy. New Orleans defense led the way in this one, rightfully so. Of course, they have a defensive head coach, defensive state of mind. About the 3 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles and fumble recoveries as well. They're including one at the end of the game, just over 2 minutes left to seal the victory. Players of the game, in my opinion, I probably won't get his last name right, but Paulson Adebo on the New Orleans defense and Taysom Hill on offense. We, again, continue to see why he was paid all that money a couple years ago. I know that made a big controversy why a backup quarterback that really didn't play much quarterback got so much money, but yeah. Adebo had 2 of the 3 interceptions, while Hill accounted for 2 touchdowns, including 1 receiving touchdown as well. So good game for those guys there. But for all the good that I just mentioned, the Saints really let Chicago stick around in this one. It should have been a blowout. I was going to lock this one, as I mentioned Friday, in my picks league, but I went on and locked another team. Especially when you're playing a guy by the name of Tyson Bagent, I think. I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
You got it right.
Yeah. He did have 2 nice touchdowns, though, to Cole commit, but he was also a turnover machine. So all in the end, the Saints have now won 8 straight games over the Bears. We talk about Aaron Rodgers owning the Bears when he was in Chicago. I think the Saints franchise owns the Bears as well. So did you catch any of this one? It was a pretty good one.
I did catch this game. I got Taysom Hill. I picked him up. He was a free agent in fantasy football. I picked him up 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And these last 2 weeks, he's definitely been doing his thing. Like you said, he had a rushing touchdown and he he had a receiving touchdown and he threw for a touchdown. But I want to go to the Bears a little bit too. You mentioned Tyler Bagent, their rookie quarterback. He also rushed for 70 yards. Every time I turned this game on too, it looked like he was scrambling all over the place, carving the Saints up. I had this game as my guaranteed pick, but I was kind of nervous. It's like, are the Bears really about to win this with Tyler Bagent, no offense, the rookie quarterback, and against the Saints? I mean, if the Saints would have lost this game, this would have been an ugly one. Derek Carr and crew, y'all would have been catching some heat for sure. But I think, like you said, that Saints defense made sure that the Saints weren't going to lose. Michael Thomas, he had 1 target, 0 catches. I mean, you got to get him more involved. Hopefully, next game that you say that. I only say that mostly because I got him on my fantasy team too. So it's been a rough year for me in fantasy football. I finally got a win, my first win of the damn season, one of these leagues I'm in. So it's been a rough season. But back to this game though. You mentioned the Saints defense, Abejo, I think his name is. Let me get his
Yep.
name right, man. I'm sorry. Adebo, yeah, you had it right. Little foreshadowing for the player awards. I think you kind of mentioned it too, but yeah, the little foreshadowing there. But yeah, just salute to the Saints on their win, man. I'm trying to see who they got next because they're 5-4. The Bucks lost, so I'm pretty sure they are now number one in that division. They are.
Mhm.
And let's see who the Saints got next. They have Minnesota next. So that's a winnable game too, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was a good win for the Saints. Good win for Derek Carr and crew. Hopefully they can keep building on that. But we'll definitely see how they look going forward for sure. And before we get into this next portion of the show, just want to say this episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women owned. So come get some of this sweet hemp tasting and taste the premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is www.premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, that's PREHEMIUM.com. And now let's get back to our show. This was definitely the game of the week. I think that's a consensus going around. Bucks at the Texans. Brandon, did you see any of this game, man?
Yeah, I was watching the game on my phone, my Ravens game, and I had NFL Network on, so they were going back and forth. Um, CJ Stroud, y'all. I mean, for real, in case y'all missed it, unless you're living under a rock, 30 for 42, 470 yards, and 5 touchdowns, including that game winner. Um, Got to give much credit to the rookie quarterback for this win, but I've said it before, especially after playing him in week one. If his interior offensive line can block for him, that's the weakness right now with them on offense. He can throw some dimes, and we've seen it again yesterday. Here's how the day went for him on Sunday, everyone. 147.8 passer rating. That's the highest ever for a rookie quarterback. 470 yards, set a rookie passing record. Youngest player with 450 plus yards, and only the sixth player in NFL history to pass for 450 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Quite impressive. But it wasn't just him, y'all. It was three of his pass catchers went for over 100 yards, including two guys they got in free agency from straight up I-45 in Dallas, Noah Brown and Dalton Schultz. Not to mention he continues to improve the connection between him and Nico Collins. It's a guy I've been hearing about a lot lately. Like you said, one hell of a game. How about the running back, though, taking over for the kicking duties for Fairbairn? I don't want to butcher his name. You might get it better than me because you're better with pronunciation. He did hit a late field goal from 29 yards out. It's one thing we all know this, and I've never played football, but it's obvious. It's one thing to do it in practice and in warmups when you don't have that pressure, you don't have the crowd. Yes, they were at home, but you don't have But to do it in a live game, that's pretty damn good. Tampa Bay though, and the Bucks offense kept right with the Texans for as impressive of a game as CJ Stroud was having. Baker Mayfield played not too bad himself. Um, it's just his defense really struggled against those Houston boys down there at NRG Stadium. Houston definitely making us look good though, man, because we both kind of picked them as a low key team in the AFC. They would make some noise in their division at least for sure, but they're making some noise outside of the division too after this one. Good win for Houston there. Good comeback win at the end as well. Did you catch any of this one?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because they had the Vikings Falcons games on at the same time. So red zone, they had they were showing both of their fourth down conversions. They showed Baker, he had like a 4th and 2, and I talked about Josh Dobbs had a 4th and 7. They kind of played both of those plays at the same time, and both of them scrambled for first downs. It was kind of nuts to see that
Yeah.
unfold live on Red Zone. But yeah, back to this game, you hit it on the head. The Bucks defense, I was really surprised that they I don't want to say let CJ Stroud do this, but you know how it happened. I thought after I thought after the Bucks and Baker Mayfield scored that touchdown, it was only like 42 seconds left that they gave him.
Yeah.
He hit what's my man's name? I think it was a tight end that Baker hit in the for a touchdown. Yeah, Cade Otton. He hit him
Yep.
for a touchdown. I thought, okay, game's over. You know, great game for CJ Stroud. I was wrong, America. I was wrong, everybody. CJ Stroud and the Texans, they marched right down the field, 42 seconds left. He hit Tank Dell on it was like consecutive plays, I think. He hit Tank Dell on a big play to get him closer into near the red zone. And then like a play or two later, he hit Tank Dell again for that game stealing touchdown. I was just shocked, man. Like I looked at his final stat total. Like you said, over 450 yards. I think he broke the single game passing record for a rookie with 470 yards and now 5 touchdowns. He tied the rookie touchdown record. So I don't know if I want to say, you know, all green lights ahead for CJ Stroud, but he definitely, I think this is like his coming out party for sure. I'm trying to think. I don't want to like, he kind of reminds me, you know, Deshaun Watson when he got to the Texans, how we thought, oh, he's going to lift this franchise. And he kind of did because he got him to the playoffs. He had some success before. We all know what happened in that situation. But maybe maybe the Texans got their guy. He's certainly looking like this is, you know, he had some more games. This is definitely his best game, but he's had some games so far in his young career where he's putting up great numbers, over 300 yards. And then just today, I mean, yesterday, he almost had over 500 yards passing. You mentioned the quarterback rating, and I like how you mentioned the interior line because they can't pass, and it doesn't seem like they can run block too much either. Devin Singletary, because Damian Pierce is out, he was only held to 26 yards rushing on 13 attempts. So I mean, tough day for the rushing attack for the Texans, but that passing attack and CJ Stroud is definitely looking more and more lethal. They got some young guys. Tank Dell, he's a rookie. So they definitely got some noise or making some noise out there. And Mechie, their rookie receiver last year, you know, he's coming back from that disease that he got diagnosed with. So I mean, this could be a really powerful offense going forward in the future. Definitely going to keep an eye out on them.
For sure. Before we move forward, I'm gonna mention for our Lackey listeners, class 2008, we lost one of our classmates apparently to a car crash, Ivan Young. So do want to dedicate this show to him. I didn't know him too well. I did hang out with him a couple times after graduation. Not too much in school, it's kind of in passing, but a very good guy. Very I think of like class clowns. He's like up there with Phil and Kendall and all them. So yeah, thoughts and prayers with his family and friends and loved ones. All that. Well wishes to them. Stay strong, everyone.
Rest in peace, Tyler.
Definitely. Cowboys and Eagles, everyone. 2 of Ed's division rivals. They battled it out at the link on Sunday. Ed, this is your division, so I'm gonna give you the floor from here. Tell us from your perspective.
Yeah, I thought the Cowboys would come out and make some noise and win this game. I mentioned Brandon Cooks. I said throw the ball to Brandon Cooks because, you know, he's been heating up lately these last couple of weeks. But Brandon Cooks, he only had 2 targets, 1 catch for 7 yards. So I don't know. Dak Prescott, he was sacked 5 times. But other than that, you look at his stats, he didn't play too bad in my opinion. I mean, he had 374 yards passing and he threw 3 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, he had a monster game once again, almost had 200 yards receiving. But in the end, Jalen Hurts and that Eagles team, a lot of their wins this year have been ugly or down to the wire. They're 8-1, but I know a lot of Eagles fans who I've been talking to, they're kind of worried about how they've been looking. The defense is starting to take a little dip. I know they dealt with some injuries so far. I did see Jalen Carter out there, so it looks like he's healthy enough to play. But there was a moment right before halftime where Jalen Hurts kind of
Yeah.
hurt his knee or something, and
Mm-hmm.
he got up a little slow and limped it off for a second, but he came
Yep.
back out in the second half and didn't seem to have too many issues. It looks like that tush push is pretty much unstoppable. I don't know, like you getting a third and short, fourth and short, it's pretty much like a guarantee. I want to say 9 or 8 times out of 10, the Eagles are going to convert. I don't know who's going to be able to stop it. Somebody might do it, but I don't know. But yeah, this Eagles team. Oh yeah, you guys are right. I asked you and Rashad, is AJ Brown
Yeah.
going to get over 125 yards receiving? And y'all held him to 66 yards receiving, but in the end, they still was able to get the job done. So good win for the Eagles. They're 8-1 now. And yeah, well, it looks like they're going to run away with the division now. Ever since like you mentioned earlier, the Daniel Jones and the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt they're going to be any better than
Yeah.
my Commanders. No comment on that. But yeah, what did you think of this game, man?
Yeah, I was talking to Rashad before we came on here, and he said I did get one thing right. I did get the AJ Brown prediction right, but he did. He locked the Cowboys in our picks league, so that was beneficial to me because I locked the Eagles. I wasn't too confident, but it really wasn't anybody else besides maybe Cleveland that I was like, okay, it's gonna win this. But getting back to this game, you remember that song by DJ Khaled? All I do is win.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Jalen Hurts and the Eagles should be coming out to before every game, man. Because like I think he's only lost 2 games as a starter. Like it's impressive. They just find ways to win games. In all
Yeah.
seriousness, though, uh, I'm convinced the Cowboys had bad luck in big games. I'm gonna focus on the fourth quarter. We all know what happened there. Score was Eagles 28. Cowboys. It was I got the wrong score here at that point. I
I
think it
think it
was
was
17.
17. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dak got upended on the long drive. He tried to rush him on that left side. Then he hits the tight end Shoemaker, I think his name was, ruled just short of the end zone there. Okay, no problem. They get the ball back a short time later. Dak, he hit Tolbert for the short touchdown. And then you thought he got in on the 2-point conversion. And of course, they got to review it. And the foot was out of bounds. So they don't get the 2-point conversion. No problem again because Philly gave the ball back with just enough time to make some noise. They get the big PI on Bradbury, I think it was, plus 2 other defensive penalties to push the ball downfield for free. And the Eagles were down 2 defensive backs at one point on that final drive. And then what happens? They come up just a few yards short on that final play, on that
Mm-hmm.
basically that Hail Mary play. But all honestly, though, Dak Prescott gets a lot of flack, I guess, for
Mm-hmm.
being America's team quarterback. But he played a pretty good game. I was impressed to watch him, especially in the second half. I got to see a lot more of this game. He was connecting with his guys all over the place. CeeDee Lamb, like you mentioned, has just been killing it. I mean, this is 3 straight games over 100 yards, damn near 200, 11 for 191. I said he was going to be the X factor in this one, and he basically was for them there, especially at the end. But Dallas, they just came across a very good Eagles team who are even better at home. I don't think they're as good as were last year. Like you mentioned, the defense kind of taking a step back. So is Jalen Hurts. That run game isn't hitting that 200 mark, 200 yards per game mark that they've been notorious with since he's been there. But in the end, I mean, the grudge match should be very good December 10th in Arlington. I'm looking forward to that. I was glad it was coming around the corner before too late in the season because after this game, I'm definitely intrigued to see a little bit more of this rivalry moving forward.
Yeah, me too. I want to shout out Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys too. He had us a decent game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Go blue. You went to Michigan.
Got you. All right, everyone. Plenty of other games to talk about from Week 9. It started on Thursday Night Football. Pittsburgh beat the Titans on a last-minute Levis interception, 20-16. The Ravens were all over the Seahawks, 37-3. Shutout in Cleveland. The Browns all over the Cardinals, 27-0. Packers, they broke a 5-game losing streak with a 20-3 win over the Rams. Its Commanders, they fought back against the Patriots to win 20-17. Colts 27, Panthers 13, Raiders 30, Giants 6 in Antonio Pierce's first win as interim head coach. And the Bengals on Sunday Night Football, they win their fourth straight. This time it was over the Buffalo Bills. Which of these matchups, which of these games caught your attention?
Before I get to that, I need to make a adjustment. I need to take my shout out back from Jake Ferguson. I don't know what I was thinking. He did not go to Michigan. He went to Wisconsin. Back to these
Close
other
enough.
scores though. I was really shocked by the Ravens Seahawks score. Y'all rushed the ball on them like crazy. They didn't have a chance in hell against y'all. I thought it would be a way closer game, but y'all went up. They went in y'all stadium. It was in Baltimore, right?
Correct.
Yeah, they went in y'all stadium, just got the doors blown off of them. Let's see. I checked out some of that Raiders Giants game. I saw the play where, or the two plays where it looked like Daniel Jones, because the first play he avoided his one of his own players and went down. I don't know if that's where he tore his ACL, because the very next play when he dropped back, his knee kind of just gave out on him. So tough luck for Daniel Jones and the Giants going forward. I don't know what they're gonna do since they gave him a big contract. Let's see other games like that. I was watching the Commanders Patriots game just because it was on Red Zone. I thought we were going to lose. The defense made a play at the end. I say that, but the ball, Mac Jones threw the ball, it kind of bounced off of Juju Smith-Schuster's hands, and we were able to catch the deflection for an interception. So that's how they made a play. So salute to the Commanders. They got 4 wins. I saw Magic Johnson tweeting about it. He was happy with Sam Howell's performance. So, yeah, salute to them. Looking a little bit at that Colts Panthers game as well, just to see how Frank Reich would do against his old team, but tough loss for them. Jonathan Taylor is getting more and more acclimated, and he's starting to look like that lead back, top dog type running back for the Colts. So I think the Colts will be all right, even with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. And salute to the Raiders, man, and Antonio Pierce. After the game, I saw everybody smoking the victory cigars. I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a little run. I wouldn't be surprised if AFC West starts to heat up. I know last week I talked about the Broncos and how I think they got something going for it, but I won't be surprised if the Raiders kind of make some noise too. But they still got the Chiefs at the top of that division, but I think the AFC West might get real interesting going forward. What about you? Which of these games are you looking at?
Yeah, I didn't see any of the Sunday night game, but clearly it's like, again, if you'd have to be living under a rock, Nasty Natty there on a roll. Look out for them. That's all I got on that game. Raiders and Giants. My dad's Giants. They need Jesus. Okay, Lord, I ask you to wrap your loving hands around them because it's just not looking good. It's not looking good. Packers and Rams. Packers fans, y'all enjoy it because enjoy that win because you probably won't see very many more this season. I think y'all kind of got lucky because the Rams been on a slide the last 2 games, so it would have been the game coming into that one, but they definitely had some momentum a couple weeks ago. The Packers caught them on a good week and took that win. Of course, the Thursday night game, we talked about it the other day. Levis seems to be the guy, but the Steelers just find ways to win. We know how Mike Tomlin is there. They're the only team in the Super Bowl era to have a winning record halfway through the season, despite being outscored in every game. That's saying something. We all know Pittsburgh fans calling for Matt Canada out of there, like Cowboys fans want to Kellen Moore out. Commanders and Patriots, I saw very little bit of that one, but I did see one play where Sam Howell just rushed. I think it was like a good 3rd and 15-ish, something like that, and he rushed up the left side, and a couple defenders missed. And it's like with y'all, it's like when it's going good, it's going good, but when it's going bad, it's bad. So, y'all, good window up there in Foxborough. Tough place to play. But of course, Ravens Seahawks, man. Couple points on this one. Geno Stone, you text me. I said I hope that Geno Smith throws an interception to Geno Stone, and sure enough, he stepped back to pass, and Geno Stone came out there looking like Ed Reed, got his 6th interception of the year. He ain't got no speed like Ed Reed, but he definitely got ball skills right now. He on a hot streak. 25 straight games for us with more than 100 yards on the ground. LJ, he's now like 17 or 18-1 against the NFC. I know one of Jim Nance and Tony Romo. I think Nance said if we happen to make a Super Bowl with him, we got a good chance because of his record against the NFC. So that's always good. OBJ finally got his first touchdown of the season on his birthday, and rookie running back Keaton Mitchell came out of nowhere. He had an impressive preseason, but he had been inactive for most of the season. 9 for 138 and a tutty. His father won Super Bowl 35 with us. He actually had a tip pass that led to Chris McAllister touchdown. So that kind of hit home with Ravens fans there at the bank. And it was franchise win number 250. So shout out to Bashotti and Art Modell, the late Art Modell. Congratulations to our team for that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into these player awards. Start on the offensive side of the ball. Brandon, I'm going to let you go first. Who you got for your offensive player of the week?
I'm pretty sure we're on the same page with this one.
Probably.
CJ Stroud.
Yep.
30 for 42, 470 and 5 touchdowns. Touched on all his records he set. Just a very good game out there at NRG Stadium.
Yep, same. CJ Stroud for me too. It's probably gonna be the same for the defensive side of the ball, but let's see what happens. Who you got for your defensive player of the week?
Yeah, I picked the Panthers like an idiot. I thought that they were gonna beat the Colts. I haven't been high on them, but the Colts went in there and dominated them from start to finish, led by Kenneth Moore the second. He had two pick sixes on the number 1 overall pick of Bryce Young. In fact, his 115 return yards for those interceptions were almost double of any Carolina pass catcher. So yeah, defensive player of the week goes to Kenneth Moore.
Got you. Mine is a little different. I'm gonna go with the Saints cornerback we talked about earlier, Paulson Adebo. He had 2 interceptions. He forced a fumble, and he also recovered the fumble. And he had 7 total tackles. So definitely needed his performance to beat the Bears. That was a closer game than I expected. But yeah, Paulson Dabo, he's my defensive player of the week. Special teams, who you got, man?
Special teams, I'm going to go to the Texans running back. I don't want to get his name wrong, but we all saw it. He came in for the injured kicker. A lot of pressure. Had a late clutch field goal. I mean, it did help that he was at home, so the crowd was nice and quiet and everything. They had the jumbotron, a logo, and didn't show him on there till he actually made the kick. Props to you, my guy. So the Texans running back turned kicker.
Same for me. Let me take a shot at his name. I've heard it 20 times yesterday, so I'm trying to hope I remember it. But Dare Ogunbowale. Yeah, same for me. He's my special team of the week. Like you said, that kick he made towards the end of the game, that was a pressurized clutch moment. The game was tied at that point, and he kicked it, gave him a 3-point lead. So salute to him. And that's my special teams player of the week. Now let's get into the bonehead player call of the week. Brandon, I'm gonna let you go first.
Always my favorite part of the show. Birthday man, OBJ. First and 10. First and 10 just before half. We're up. It's looking pretty good. We're dominating Seattle. LJ hits OBJ for a big first down. Instead of getting down, OBJ, he holds the ball out. He tries to shake off a defender with another hand and his strength and athleticism. The defender takes him down. He rolls on top of him, so he's technically not down, but they fumbled. He fumbled, and they reviewed it. It remains at stand. Stands as it was called on field. Excuse me. Seattle ball at the Baltimore 43. Just a bonehead play. Just protect the ball, OBJ. We had a timeout or two. We was already up. We had all the momentum, and it was no need for him to even fight for extra yardage. Just get down, and we'll get up, snap the next ball, and live to see another down. Luckily enough, our defense forced a turnover. But damn, OBJ, you got to stop being fancy because it's eventually going to hurt us, especially when we start playing those good teams down the line. What about you?
Mine's is a little different again this week. I got to give it to the refs and the NFL. There was a play in the Commanders Patriots game where I can't remember the defender for the Commanders, but basically they called a roughing a passer and it was like a routine sack. The defender hit him in the back pulse. He hit him in the back for a sack, and the refs throw the flag, and everybody, I mean, the commentators like, that's terrible. That's a terrible call. They even had Dean Blandino come on, and he was like, yeah, I don't know about that one, but he said this is what the NFL is wanting to enforce. So I got to give it to the refs and the NFL for enforcing this. I mean, you're gonna have players blowing their knees out trying to shove somebody in the ground, make sure their weight doesn't fall on them. Yep. Whatever the hell the circumstances is now, because just put a flag on the quarterbacks or put a sticker on them or something to slap it off or put it on them, because you can't touch these guys anymore at all. I mean, if I can show you the play, it was tackles a guy and they both fall to the ground. It wasn't like the quarterback was like writhing on the ground in pain, wait and get up. It wasn't a super big hit. It was a routine tackle, blindside. I give him that, but what do you want me to do? Poke him like, hey, I'm about to tackle you. Turn around so you can see me or something. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, man. They got to do something about these roughing the passer calls. There's a few of them, a couple other games that are you just shake your head, scratch your head like, what? You call that a roughing the passer? It's crazy, man. So yeah, bonehead play call of the week, NFL and the refs, man. Y'all got to do better, because this is getting dumb with some of these calls on roughing the passer, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you said, you can't even touch the quarterback now. And as a defensive fan of a team that's been known for defense, it's very hard to watch. Yeah, like how are you supposed to pull up your body weight is no way possible. Man. Crazy. All right, Monday Night Football, Chargers and Jets. It's underway. It is 14-0. Chargers on top. Missed a couple big plays. They had a big punt or kickoff return. Don't quote me exactly. Let's see.
Punt return.
Thank you. Punt return. And then Zach Wilson fumbled. Joey Bosa was the strip sack and recovery. Jets, they won 3 straight games while the Chargers are coming off a big blowout win over the Bears in prime time. I know the Jets defense is stingy when it comes to big plays, not giving up big plays, but I like the Chargers to take this win before kickoff. I picked the Chargers. I think Austin Eckler will contribute just enough. Of course, he got an end zone as well, along with Keenan Allen, who's just having a really good season to propel the Chargers to a win here at MetLife. The Chargers, they need to get off to a lead, though. That's what I have in my notes. So they're getting off to a lead right now, and they got to keep it, because they clearly don't play good in close games. Like, that's been the MO since Anthony Lynn was there. So yeah, I do like the Chargers in this one. What about you?
Yeah, I kind of said last week I might have to give the bonehead call to the NFL for scheduling this game at the Monday night, and it's looking like it's going to get ugly for the Jets. Maybe they'll turn it around, but yeah, they're up 14. Chargers up 14 right now, and that Jets offense is not the best. I know Zach Wilson has improved in recent weeks, but yeah, it might be a long game for the Jets if they got to pass the ball a little bit more. I know they want to feature Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, but might be a long game for the Jets tonight. But yeah, I got the Chargers. Well, stranger things have happened. We kind of jinx teams on Monday night. Every time we think a team wins, like the Browns or something, San Fran or something, other team tells us to shut the hell up and they win a game. So who knows? The Jets could come back and win it. But yeah, I think the Chargers will take this one. It might get ugly before halftime. It might be a blowout, but yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I think the Chargers should finish this game off for sure. And that's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I want to thank everybody who watches the show, takes time out of their day to watch the show. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. And check us out on Instagram and Twitter as well. So thank you, everybody. I hope y'all have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the week. Talk to y'all.
Peace.